G'day and welcome back to another quick assembly and review. This one was definitely not quick however, and to start off with, this kit is actually worth the money and the time. To start off with, it retails for around $30 here in Australia, and despite the size, it's actually a really neat smaller advanced kit. I do need to note that there is quite a fair bit of flash, but I won't let that take away from the kit for a solid reason. The size of most of these parts is very small, and flashing when dealing with this size is normal. Now, I've regarded this kit as advanced for a good couple of reasons. The sprues don't have any numbers to go by, and you will be required to refer to the manual's inventory section to double check. On top of that, the instructions are a little vague at points, but if you take a good look at the model, you should be able to spot where it's implying that you connect the pieces and such. Alternatively, not knowing a huge about the R75 in real life, I did refer to some real photos for clarity. As for the actual assembly, do be gentle if you build this one, as a lot of the pieces are quite fragile, purely due to the size, and I've personally opted to do a lot more of the cleanup in the pre-paint step, as I find it gives a lot of the sections more durability. For the sake of ease while building, I will also recommend using superglue to ensure that more troublesome parts adhere nicely and don't shift while drying. But if you're inexperienced using superglue, then perhaps look to slightly slower drying types from, say, Zapcap's line as an example. While assembling, there will also be parts that are safe to tape while setting, and as you will see, I do this myself. This not only allows the glue to bind better, but it saves putting something down only to have it let go and shift while you're working on something else. And that in itself is worth the tape, as I've personally had this happen and it causes headaches mid-build. The details overall for this little BMW are also brilliant. I've built quite a few of the 1/35th scale DKW and BMW bikes, but I think this one has actually rocketed to first place. When I set out this morning to build this bike, I wrongly assumed that it would take roughly 30 to 45 minutes, but found it pushing on a couple of hours, taking a more careful and detailed approach. So this puts it a bang for buck in terms of money spent, as 1/35th tanks around this price barely take an hour to build, for comparison. Before I move on, I do have to point out the old German over-engineering that this tiny bike kit seems to have lived up to, in regards to complexity, but again, it's really dang fun to deal with. After the bike's had enough time to actually dry, I'll think about painting it properly. Of course after I do the final tidy ups, as it's not ready to be detailed at the moment. I'm also unsure whether I'm going to paint it in the DAC colours, or just the standard grey, but we'll have to see. If I settle on DAC colours, I'm currently thinking of having it sit beside one of my Dragon Tiger kits, coupled with another Masterbox kit, number 3561, which is Rommel and a DAC tank crew, which can be posed on top of my tank, and having this neat sidecar beside such a scene I feel would be pretty cool and would allow me to have more of a basic diorama practice under my belt, as I've only ever done one military diorama, which is in the final stages as of right now. Alternatively, I could add it to the diorama I'm actually working on at the moment, which would see it bogged down in mud and snow by a Beobachtungspanzer IV, which means it would be a weathered and worn out grey scheme and not a whole lot else due to it being just really environmental touches. My final thoughts on this are positive overall, but if you're new to hobby modelling or not able to see or handle small and fiddly pieces, you may find it better to skip this kit and opt for one of Tamiya's excellent bike kits, in my opinion. And that's about it for this one. I do hope this video was of some use to you. Until the next one, cheers!